Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Last Non-Classics. This is episode number 1818, Doubleshot number 1712. If you're curious what I'm doing right now, my phone dropped on my floor and I'm trying to pick it up with my feet. Yes, I can do this. Alright, so the first book is from, as you can see from the cover I'm holding right now, I'm just basically plugging my phone back in because I didn't fully charge it. There we go. It is Legion of Superheroes, Volume 3, The Fatal Five. You're thinking, okay, you're reviewing Volume 3. You've never reviewed Volume 1 or 2. Why is that? Because I've never got my hands on these books until now. This, at the time, was the 7th volume of Legion of Superheroes comic book. This was the one launched under the New 52 Initiative. And basically, this is like the final. This is basically collecting issues like 15 to 23, roughly 9 issues in here. You have some with Mon-El and like you have a bunch of various stuff happening. You have election going on, and the book ends basically with like someone representing the United Federation of Planets announcing to Brainiac 5 that the Legion of Superheroes has been disbanded and all the members return home, except one person. Wait, I don't have a home. My old plane was destroyed. So where we go? Oh, Science Place got something for you. And Brainiac 5 is like, what is going on here? Yeah, it's kind of confusing, basically, of how somewhat odd the story is. It's like, it's just basically reading these issues. It feels as though that basically Keith Giffen and Paul Levitz are kind of, in a way, a bit rushing into the story. Plus, like, I love the artwork. To my Scott Nolan, Jeff Johnson, Scott Kubelich, Keith Giffen does some artwork too, like Kevin McGuire, Andy Smith, Francis Porta, and Tom Durank. The cover art, so this is Kevin McGuire's artwork. Yeah, mostly we just have this woman here who just has these things going with her. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Dream Girl. Yep. You can always read this and you go like, oh, it's basically regular Legion of Superheroes business. Basically just regular modern day Legion of Superheroes stuff. That's mostly the best way you could describe this. And then we had the beginning and the end stuff going on here with this gorgeous arc by Scott Kubelich. He does an absolute great job with this one. Yep. Oh, by the way, their headquarters is the old rocket ship. Though in the 70s, I think it was 70s or 80s, I think it was. This here is the Uptown rocket spaceship. This was their original base operations they had when they started back in the Silver Age. And then by I think it was like the late 70s when Jerry Conway took over the book, they pretty much expanded to a big, humongous, technologically advanced building. Like a lot more advanced than that Uptown rocket. It became like a full-fledged embassy. I mean, nothing bad with the issues per se. It's like, I guess that Keith Giffen and Paul Levitz to see word that the book was canceled. That's just basically where first time we ever had this for a final issue of a volume for Legion Superheroes. Let's have the Legion disband. And in the book, it's, if I remember, let's see, was there a reason why the group was disbanded? Yeah, it's mainly because of all the destruction on. But it just seems as though that they don't really give a reason why that the Legion decided to disband like this. Mm-hmm. But yes, now this book is actually pretty good, though it has a bit of a rushed ending to it. I'm gonna give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. Strangely enough, the Legion Superheroes would come back 1 year later in Justice League United #1. And #1, excuse me. They came back for a really good story arc. And after the story concluded, we wouldn't see Legion again for about 3 years until Bendis was on Superman and brought the group back because of the modern day appearance of the United Federation of Planets. And then it later led to his brief run on Elite Superhero, which today is probably the shortest volume tape because prior to the volume's released, Volume 6 was the shortest volume tape at 16 issues. Yes, if you want to think it was the longest one, it was probably either Volume 2 or 3 were the longest one. I think it was probably, actually it was 4. 4 was pretty long, 100 issues. Now, why the book was canceled at 23 issues? Probably low sales because a lot of the series canceled at that point in time were canceled with low sales. Do I think low sales is probably the reason why? Possibly. Nothing. It was nothing really bad about this series. No, it just basically just felt like a continuation of the regular Legion superheroes. Just basically they lost the connection to Superman. That's it. And at least they brought back a classic writer of the book, Paul Levitz. But if you think about it, like, well, people are simply not interested in buying Legion superheroes anymore at this point. Yeah, this volume came out for the period of 2011 to 2013. I lived for 2 years. Yeah. They canceled this book, I think it was just prior to the second anniversary of the New 52, which I believe that was it Villains Month? Yeah, I think it was Villains Month was that period of time. So, canceled part of Villains Month. So, yeah. Now we're going back in time even further than that to the 1970s with Warlord by Mike Grell. This is basically the first and only showcase book for Warlord. I say it's the only book because they published no more after this one. Despite I think it's called Warlord Volume 1, there were no other volumes published of this one. Now you're probably thinking, okay, is there a reason why there wasn't any more? No. And will we get any more Warlord books? Not really. The thing with Warlord is there hasn't been a lot of trades released for him. I mean, aside from this, you have a trade release in 1990 called Savage Empire, which collected the first 10 issues of this book, plus issue 12, and the first issue special, which is his debut, and Warlord Saga. And that's it. Yeah, that's literally it. If you're curious to how long the first volume was, it was 133 issues. Mm-hmm. Mike Grell was initial writer of this book when the book first started. Mm-hmm. I actually had a chance to meet this guy at Comic-Con very recently, but he canceled. Not really sure why, but he did. He canceled. So basically, this book contains the first 28 issues of the Warlord book, plus the first issue special, which was his debut. Yep. And I should point out that every issue always begins with a credits page. Let's see if I can find it here. Here we go. We have this basically. We have Mike Grell signing every issue. Instead of, typewriting it in, no, he basically signed every issue to know that he wrote it. And the story for Warlord is this. We have this guy called Travis Morgan. That's this guy right here. He's an Air Force pilot who thinks basically, by the way, they point out, though, that he went down there in, I think it was like 1969, I think it was actually during the events of Vietnam, was going at that period of time. His plane crashed. He's a colonel in the Air Force. So, armed with only his gun and the clothes on his back. By the way, he actually does not put this outfit on until a little bit later into the book, because at first, when he switches out he puts on this outfit here. And he wears this outfit for a brief period of time before switching over to this outfit here. As soon as he arrives there, he meets up with Tara, who later becomes his future wife and the mother of his second child, because he actually had a child previous marriage. It'll show up later on in the series. And they also point out, though, when he actually goes outside the world first time, because he's been 8 years, he said he was supposedly 51, so my guess is he was 43 when he went down there. Yes, 43. He also helps a woman, and he goes back down to look for Tara. Eventually, just find her, and of course, that's when he finds out they actually have a kid together. Now, also Damos himself, who is a common villain, he pops up in issues too, because it's basically the early years of Warlord. It's basically a serialized chronicle of basically Warlord's adventures in Sakateros. I believe it's called. Yeah, it's Sakateros. That's what they call it. It's one of the many countries in this hollow earth. And this book later spawned several backup features and a few spin off books. Yes, this book is just awesome. And my question is, why could DC basically collect more of this stuff? This book is good. Mike Roll did a great job with this book. He left the book at issue 52. Yeah, he did this book for another like 24 issues. Then he left. I'm like, couldn't you bother to do it? Nope. But this book is fantastic. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's just really good. Yeah, aside from Warlord, Damos, and Terra, there's like no regular superheroes help in this book at all. Not really, no. The book, in case you're curious though, started back in 1976 and it was concluded in, well, it says here, winter 1988. Yep, winter 1988. So basically it was publishing for 12 years. Though it managed to put out only 133 issues and 6 annuals. Yeah, by the way, the backup features in this book were, not this book here, they were OMAC, Archon something, which I think he later got his own spin-off book. Yep, he got his own spin-off book. And there's also Claw the Conquered, or the Unconquered. Yeah, he's the Image League character. He's basically one of DC's equivalent to the Cardinal Barbarian. The best way you could describe Warlord himself is just that it's like Conan, done in sort of a modern day fashion mixed with sci-fi. That's the way to describe it. You could also say that he's DC's version of Kazar, except that basically it's mixed with a little bit. It's basically a mixture of like Conan, Kazar, nothing for Tarzan per se, but that's the best way to describe it. This book is really good. It is great though, the fact that when that girl was doing Green Arrow, he actually had Warlord himself, Travis Morgan, pop up in the pages of Green Arrow for a couple issues. Though apparently the reason why he looks the way he is, apparently because based upon Mike Grell himself. Yeah, Mike Grell based on the character based on his own personal self, which, okay, that's very original. Yep. Now, despite the book ending after 133 issues, it was brought back a couple times. First as a miniseries, and then they brought back in 2006. And the thing with both these two books is that they're reboots of Warlord. That's how I've read. They're simply reboots. Volume 4 was actually more of a proper continuation of this book per se, and it was done by his original creator Mike Grell. Yep. But I love Warlord. Great character. Do I think he should have another book? Probably a mini-series per se. But if they do get another book, have Mike Grell do it because he does an absolute great job writing the character. No denying the fact James Robbins did a great job writing him in the pages of Trinity. But Mike Grell is the best person to write this book because it's his character. He created this book character. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular view. Stay tuned next week, which is going to be One Piece. Okay, that's for you there. Bye.